Hi all, a new day and new stories from Ocean Story. Just listen to this story. That year, the biggest drama in my life began. Now I have some difficulties in my family. We have a big family. My parents have 3 children. My older brother is Jack, who is 26. Me and my sister are 17 years old. I worked long hours at my job, so I didn't have much time for a personal life. The same cannot be said for my older brother Jack. At his job, he met a wonderful girl named Riley. From the very beginning of their relationship, Jack did not give out any information about the new girl. 3 months later, he introduced our family to Riley. She has captivated everyone who has met her. My brother has never had a more interesting person than her. My sister-in-law was delighted with Riley. After all, she came to us with sweets. That's how she managed to bribe my sister. My parents really liked my brother Jack's new girlfriend. 3 months later, they became newlyweds, and after 9 months of dating, Jack and Riley became a married couple. They lived happily for about 2 years. During this time, all the family got used to Riley. My mom spent a lot of time talking to her. On all holidays, they cooked together. For me, Riley became a friend. My brother worked a lot, so we had a lot of time to go shopping. One day, I got a call from Riley. She said that my brother Jack broke up with her. She wanted to get a divorce because he doesn't feel anything for her anymore. Anyway, Jack found a new girlfriend. I didn't believe her. I thought it was a joke. So I called my brother. Jack confirmed every word. I was tongue-in-cheek for a few days from my brother's decision. When the rest of the family found out, they were also sad and sick. Especially my mom and sister were upset. My brother found a model-looking girl. Her name was Zoe, and she wasn't too bad. But obviously Zoe was far from Riley. Eventually everyone in the family came to terms with what happened. My dad even supported my brother Jack because it's his life, so it's up to him to choose who he wants to be with. We have to support him and not judge him. That's what my dad said. If my family could accept Jack's choice, I was not going to accept it. After Jack and Riley's divorce, I did not want to have any contact with my brother. 1 year after my brother's divorce, Jack had intentions of getting married to Zoe. All my family wanted to go. I also went, but I really didn't stay there for more than 10 minutes. As I was leaving, my sister caught up with me. She asked me why I was leaving, and I told her that I was disgusted to see it because Zoe replaced Riley, who was betrayed by our brother. My own uncle heard this conversation. He started accusing me of not appreciating my family's choices, that I did not appreciate the choice of my family. We started to quarrel. After that incident, I had no contact with my family at all. 7 months after these events, my mom was able to reach me. She asked what I was doing now. I told her a little about my hobbies and work. My mom asked about my relationship with my brother. I told her that I hadn't spoken to him in almost a year. My mom started to say that we were related. Her words were absurd to me. I even think she was manipulating me. I told my mom that my needs came first, and then I will think about my family. After all, none of them will take care of me, unless you want to take care of Jack and his wife. That's fine, but don't bother me. We started to argue. 3 months have passed since that conversation with my mother. During this time, I received a lot of messages on social media from my family. Most of all, my uncle bothered me. Apparently, he really liked Zoe. One day, I replied to my uncle, if he likes Zoe, that doesn't mean I like him. I think my brother is a jerk and a bad man. Because of this, we started a fight. My mom wrote that I shouldn't have written that to my uncle. This year, we were planning to celebrate Christmas. My parents told me they were planning to have the holiday at their house. I can come because everyone is waiting for me. But first I have to admit my guilt for writing bad words to everyone for a whole year. I told my mom that I was declining her offer. I had a better plan. I invited Riley to my house and some friends. We had a great holiday at my house. My dad found out that I was celebrating Christmas with Riley. Everyone in my family was upset about my choice. They thought I had disrespected family traditions. My uncle was angry with me. I disrespected my whole family, and especially to Jack and Zoe. The whole next day, I received a bunch of messages for the next holiday whenever it is. I intend to spend it with my friends and Riley because she has become my friend. My dad has been asking me to come and see them, But my desire was not there, I knew. There would be 100% Trader Jack and Zoe there. Contact with them was unacceptable for me. My dad started telling me that it was valuable to have family around. I asked him who it was valuable for. I just hung up and didn't hear his nonsense. That my father tried to impose on me. In the evening, my uncle texted me saying that my little sister was upset because I didn't want to be at the party and didn't see her at all. My sister was hoping to see me. It hurt me a little bit. I love my sister and I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. I agreed to be at the party if my brother was not there. No one wanted to be left out of Jack and Zoe's invitation. I wrote to my dad that they were with my mom. They haven't thought about my feelings for 3 years. So I don't want to be at their stupid celebrations. Dad started saying that it was my choice. My sister told me that she hadn't seen my mom so upset for a long time. I don't see my fault in this. My conditions are very simple. Either I am at the party or only my brother is there. I never spoke to anyone else in the family for a day, except for my younger sister. My mom wants to make me feel guilty. Dad just thinks I'm proud. Is it really my fault in this situation? All my relatives forced me to be friends with my brother. Luke, there are too many hackneyed details in the story. I don't like your family acting like this, but you're no better than they are. You can't ignore your brother because of the divorce. You had no idea what was going on in the marriage between Jack and Riley. You may have become Riley's friend, but there is so much you don't know. Of course, it's bad that your brother Jack left his wife in a heartbeat and very quickly found a replacement. That's really an asshole move. But however he did it, it's Jack's right to be with whoever he wants to be with. You should not interfere with his choice. Your dad is right in his opinion, and your new girlfriend, Riley, needs to see a counselor because it's hard to go through a divorce without professional help. She is nothing to you, and your parents are everything. You shouldn't have a bad relationship with them. Nora, you treat your family very badly. You think you are right in your actions, but you make everyone around you feel bad. You should at least apologize to your parents. Or do you like how bad everyone around you is? You suffered, now let everyone around you suffer. Is that what you think? Jaden, have you ever tried to build a normal relationship with your brother and his wife? I think you just shut them out. You like to think of yourself as a victim. You don't care about your family. You are a really selfish girl. You are only interested in your own feelings. You don't think about your sister and parents. This is stupid behavior. Now I want to tell a different story. I am 16 years old. My hobby and future job. I perform regularly in public. I am an acrobat. My parents live separately. Since I live in a slightly different city with my friend, my parents trusted me to live separately because I am very responsible and have experience. That week, I was supposed to go to a beauty salon. I wanted to freshen up my skin before a new performance. Unfortunately, on the days that were convenient for me, everything was busy. My friend Jaden said he was doing face masks for his sister, so maybe he could help me. I was surprised that the guy had such skills. I didn't have much choice, so I agreed. After 1 hour, I went to the bathroom. We have a lot of space there and a big chair. Jaden put cream on my hair and rubbed it into my skin. Then he put his secret product on my face. I sat in the chair for 20 minutes until I felt my face burning. I asked Jaden if it was supposed to be like that, and he said it was fine. I continued to lie there. After 4 minutes, my face started to itch really bad. I could not stand it and looked in the mirror. Some spots appeared on my face and it turned red. I started asking my friend anxiously, is everything really under control? Because these spots looked very scary. Jaden said he had never had a problem. Maybe my skin condition is bad. That's why I had such a reaction to the product. I was not satisfied with his answer. We started washing the product off my face. When we washed it off, I was in the cheek. My whole face looked like a solid red spot. I asked my friend Jaden if it was supposed to be like that. Then he started to panic and looked at the container with the product. It turned out that Jaden had mixed up the product a bit, and because of this, he applied it to the wrong skin. The redness is the result of this. It was written on the box with the instructions that the redness could last up to 4 days. My performance was in 2 days. I started to get angry and panic. I thought I would have to miss my performance. Half an hour later, the swelling on my face became worse. I had to go to the hospital because I could have gotten a chemical burn. I was infinitely angry with my friend. How can you be so stupid and reckless? I had no desire to communicate with Jaden at first. That's why I rented the cheapest apartment I could find with the money I earned. The doctor said there was nothing dangerous, but now I apply a special ointment every day. The treatment period is more than 1 week. I had to go to the performance with a red face. I told my cousin what happened. He laughed at me for a long time, but then sympathized. I felt so bad that my friend let it happen. My parents said it was just one mistake. I shouldn't get so worked up and running away from my friend. Jaden wrote to me many times apologizing. He was ready to do the dishes for a whole month just to get me to forgive him. I don't want to be mad at my friend, but I can't forgive him now either. Because of him, I almost ruined my performance preparing for. Jaden's parents also asked me to forgive their son, but for some reason I think he wanted to play with me, like it was his joke. But this joke went beyond that. Jaden seemed to want to help me, but it only made it worse. What should I do in this situation? I have no idea at all. Dylan, the whole situation is terribly ridiculous. You should have bought a regular mask to moisturize your skin and use a couple of face scrubs. Then you wouldn't have had any problems. I also wonder how your friend Jaden could have messed up like that. If he has so much experience in this business, you didn't think he was just trying to mess with you? Remember, maybe you did something bad for him, and Jaden decided it was time for revenge. I can't explain it any other way. Lily, if your friend Jaden often makes himself a mask, how then could he have confused the containers? I have many reasons to think that this was done on purpose to you. Has your friend suddenly never shown envy or aggression towards you? I had a similar story once. However, my friend cut my nails, which I had been growing for 4 months. After that, I had a bad relationship with her. Maybe you should avoid your friend for a while. After all, it's a shame to spoil someone else's face. This is a serious enough act. If I were you, I would have no contact with this guy for a few months minimum. Grace and myself is a very reckless person. I have no problem breaking something. I can often break other people's things. Maybe Jaden is from the same category of people as me, and he really didn't intentionally hurt you. He was just unlucky with his choice of facial cleanser. If Jaden was a good friend to you, it's unlikely that after being friends with you for a long time, he would want to ruin your face. You should accept his apology and live in peace. Eleanor, for me, it is not an excuse. That Jaden got the capacity wrong. After a mistake like that, Jaden should have paid for your treatment and been more careful, because the author of the story has never seen his friend with a red face, and when Jaden could have helped you, he immediately had problems with your face. You shouldn't live with this guy anymore, or you shouldn't ask him for help anymore. Let him continue to practice on his younger sister. And what would have happened? If you had continued to endure that pain, maybe you really did get skin burns. You need to be more careful. Next story. I have been working as a part-time plumber for 6 years. I have a younger sister who doesn't think about herself or life. My sister Madison lives with her parents at the moment, although she has a boyfriend of her own whom she wanted to marry. Madison doesn't have a steady job, so she is dependent on her parents. My mom stopped going to work, so her income has decreased significantly. The business my dad had closed 3 years ago. Now my parents live on their pension and some savings. Therefore, we can say that the whole family does. I am the only one who works and has money on a regular basis. 3 months ago, my sister graduated from college. I partially sponsored her education because Madison often asked for small amounts of money for her studies. So far, she owes me about $13,000. Of this amount, Madison has paid me back about $1,000 over 6 years. Recently, Madison called me and wanted me to lend her some money. When I asked how much money we were talking about, Madison said $3,000. She needed this money to complete her economics courses in another state. This amount included tuition, $1,700. The rent was about $1,000. The rest for traveling and something else. This amount will not hit my budget too hard, but there's a big nuance. I have no intention of giving Madison money. Given her poor credit history in our relationship, I know that she will return the money in 7 years. I am not ready to make such an investment. There were more doubts in my head. Madison heard me say no. She didn't think I would say no to her, because I've practically always helped her out financially. Madison was upset for about a week. She texted and called me 6 times, each time with some kind of offer. She swore she would pay me back later. However, this did not give me confidence. Madison's words meant nothing to me. I told her that it was not easy for me right now either. And Madison was luckier in life than me, because when I took my car license, all the expenses were on me. When Madison passed, our uncle covered everything. On occasion, I reminded her that she owed about $12,000. My sister is not the type to give up quickly. Madison asked my cousin to write several times a week. The messages were asking him to lend him money, but as far as I know, Madison was behind it. Then my mom started calling me. She asked if I had a few $1,000s. I gave my parents a lot of money back in the day because my dad was starting his own business. I was one of the main sponsors of his business. So my mom and dad owe me about $47,000. We don't talk about their debts. I don't feel comfortable asking my dad for money. If my mom and dad just took the refusal calmly, my uncle was furious. He just loved Madison so much. My uncle would call me every morning at 7:25. It was really annoying because I wake up at 8. He was endlessly lecturing me. His words were literally, "We are family, so we have to help," and a bunch of primitive words with similar meanings. I endured his calls for 6 days. Then I blocked my uncle so I wouldn't have to listen to that nonsense. I called my sister and said we had to meet. We came to the family cafe. In the message, I wrote to my uncle that I would help my sister. Madison was ready for me to give her an envelope with money, and so it was, except for the envelope with money. I did not want to give her money. I knew that she was not going to return it. I took with me a letter with the terms of the family loan. I wrote down specific dates and amounts. Now I was satisfied with everything and had confidence. I would get the money back. My sister was tickled that I had brought the contract with me. I told Madison that this would be the very last time. Under no circumstances would I give her any more money. She's not 18 anymore, and she can earn her own money. When I said all this to Madison, I felt bad. I felt like a bank employee deciding a person's fate. Although I didn't do anything wrong, the feelings inside me said otherwise. There was a battle inside me. My conscience was fighting with my sense of justice. After that conversation in the cafe with my sister, my uncle wrote to me on Instagram. He described me as an asshole who only wants to make money off his family. I'm a terrible brother who shouldn't do that. After all, my sister is in a difficult situation. I need to understand that and help Madison. I don't understand if I don't give money, am I a bad person? Because I don't even have that kind of responsibility to my sister. So I overcame the feeling of guilt quickly. I'm not demanding $12,000 back from Madison right now. I'm not telling my parents to give me my money back. I'm being completely understanding to everyone, but my arguments didn't make a difference. My uncle turned all my relatives against me, like I'm a miser who has money, but has no desire to share it with my family. Most of my family thinks I'm a bad guy because of what my uncle said. I think only about myself, and my family is nothing to me. When I asked my uncle, why doesn't he plan to help? His words are always the same. He is building a garage. That's why all the money is directed there. Can everyone call me names when no one helped Madison? My friend, who has a good conversation with my sister's friend, he told me some interesting things. My sister talks about me to everyone, how heartless and rude I am. I'm sorry that all my good deeds were forgotten in an instant when I just didn't want to give someone money. At the same time, I was disgusted to know these people. Everyone around me thinks that I earn unrealistic amounts of money, but my salary is $6,000. I just learned how to budget and save money. That's why I have money when I need it. It's good that I put a large part of it in a bank savings account. David, everyone who takes money from you, they don't really think about paying you back. You should think about not lending to relatives at all. Don't let them talk to you until they return the full amount. They are pressuring your kindness, but stop putting up with it. Joseph, why does everyone want to get money from you anyway? If your sister wants to study, let her earn money for her dream on her own. Why do you have to cover her needs? Has she ever done anything for you? Stop being so soft. You're being blatantly taken advantage of, and they make you feel guilty because you didn't give them money. Let them go away from you. You don't owe any of them anything. They all have their own lives and the ability to earn money. Your sister may be a super gifted girl. She has to think about her own support. And if someone doesn't like it, let them pay for your sister themselves. Luna, no one in your family can live with that kind of behavior. Doesn't deserve to get a single cent from you. It's not like your sister is a teenager anymore, but she is asking all her relatives and friends to call you and ask for money. It doesn't seem serious. Madison has no respect for you if she doesn't take no for an answer. Joseph, your parents and uncle don't give a damn about your needs. They only care that your sister Madison has everything she needs. Your whole family doesn't care about you. Your sister does the wrong thing every time, but she does it because her parents let her. They didn't pay the right attention to her upbringing. That is why Madison is asking you for money without any conscience, even though she still owes you a lot of money, and your parents probably have no intention of paying you back. After all, you're the son in the family, not the main sponsor. Cut off contact with all of them. Brother, you don't need this kind of relationship in your family. Start your own family and invest in it. I'm sure it will do you more good than giving money to your relatives. Your future wife will be more grateful than your sister. My next story. My friend Carter is a very busy man. He has a family and a small business. Carter spends all his free time with his family. I'm happy for him that everything in his life is great. From time to time, I visit Carter on weekends. My friend's son is 5 years old and his daughter is 2 years old. His wife Grace is a wonderful girl. She has a great sense of humor. You don't get bored with her. That is, not since she became a wife and mom to my friend. Grace became more serious and busy. Grace has a younger brother. Owen is a 25-year-old guy. He was the one who always got little attention. Owen would not let me be alone with his friend Carter. Grace's brother has to talk all the time. It was unbearable to be around him. Owen had thousands of meaningless topics to talk about. When Carter and I were sitting in his house in the kitchen, Owen would always come over to keep us talking. He didn't care if the conversation was private. I realize that Owen is a relative in my friend's house, and I am just his friend and guest, so I shouldn't be angry with Owen. But I wish so much that when I come to Carter, Grace's brother wasn't sitting next to me. He didn't get into our conversations. It really annoys me that someone else knows about my business. Things weren't so bad with Owen before. We had a big campaign with Owen. We always had people to talk to. I didn't talk to him that much. Owen was incredibly annoying, especially when he started talking about crocodiles. 9 years ago, we had a tradition. Every year, a music concert was organized in our town. Everyone loved going and enjoying hours of great music. Then we got older and older. My friend had children. Some of my friends moved to other states. 3 friends went abroad. That week, I was sitting there drinking coffee. One day, I overheard 2 girls talking about a music festival coming up. I was free in those days. I called my friend to ask if they would go with Grace. 3 hours later, my friend wrote that he had booked us tickets. I asked if they were able to ask Grace's mom to take the kids, and Carter said she agreed without any problems, so we can go to the concert at 4. I was very surprised at what Carter did. My intention was to go have a great time, not to listen to Owen's nasty singing. I didn't mind the 3 of us going at all. But if Owen was going to be there, that was unacceptable to me. I know Owen is on his way to the concert. He will talk a lot about how he wanted to get here, and then I would listen to it on the way home. After thinking it over, I turned my friend down. Carter said, "Don't worry, man, you won't hear Owen. He will be standing 2 meters away from you. You won't hear his voice. You'll take another taxi home, and you won't have to listen to Owen's voice." Grace's wife asked me to bring my brother with me because he has little positive in his life, and this concert would cheer Owen up like never before. Grace's mom took care of the kids and I took care of my work, so I need you to come to the concert. That's what my friend Carter was saying. I understood everything perfectly, but I didn't want to spoil the whole mood. The last time I was with Owen was at the party. In the end, everyone was listening to his stupid stories. I told my friend that my ticket might be canceled. I didn't want to put up with Owen, always sticking his nose in everything. My girlfriend is now at her sister's house, so she couldn't be with me. Maybe if she was around, I would have agreed. She has sympathy for Owen. My girlfriend asked me to change my mind and go to the concert because Owen needs good people around him now, and a break from the routine would be nice. The problem is that I don't want to go to the concert. I spoil everyone's mood. The next day, I got a call from Owen. He asked if I would go with them to the concert that Carter had found. I said I didn't want to go to the concert. I didn't want to listen to him sing and talk. Carter was upset that I was so rude to Owen because Owen thought I hated him. Grace wrote to me saying that I behaved very badly. If I didn't want to see Owen, I shouldn't have responded so harshly. It's been 1 month since our conflict. There is some animosity between all of us. Owen thinks I'd curse him and hate him. Carter is a little angry with me because I ruined Grace's mood. Grace herself is upset with me because I hurt her brother's feelings. But don't I have a right to a nice vacation? Why do I have to put up with Owen's stupid behavior? I just wanted to be with my friends at the concert. Chloe, why do you hate this guy so much? Did a few stories from Owen ruin his reputation? This music concert is for everyone. That's why you shouldn't have interfered with Owen's presence. It's your personal problem that you can't stand him. Your friend and his wife were able to find a way to go there, and you're just turning them down so easily. You should be ashamed of yourself for being so stupidly categorical. You were going to a concert, you wouldn't listen to Owen, as it usually happens at ordinary parties. Owen would just disappear into the crowd. You would have enough free space. Wyatt, how do you imagine the absence of your friend's wife's brother? Like Owen had to hide in the closet when you came over. You should think about your behavior. Maybe it's not just Owen. You think Owen is too interested and pushy, but only your desires are impudent and wrong. If you want to be free with Carter, invite him to a restaurant and sit in silence. Don't go to Carter's house and Owen won't be there. Penelope, why can everyone around you tolerate Owen, and you're the only one who says he's not right? You describe all situations as critical, but in reality, there's nothing extraordinary about them. You're just upset that you can't play with your friend Carter in peace. You should think about other people's feelings. Your friend and his wife are with Owen. They thought you would go with them, and you would have a great time. You don't respect their wishes. John, you're only capable of having a conversation with Carter. You can't get along with anyone else. You should have tried to make friends with Owen. Maybe he's not as horrible as you think he is. Layla, what a sacrifice your friend made with Grace. Carter's friend put his work on hold to be at that concert with you too. Couldn't you have suffered one more time, Owen? To be at such a cool concert? I think you should apologize to everyone. You dragged them into going to the concert by yourself, and then you were rude to your friend's wife's brother. Your actions are disgusting. A story that really surprised me. I live in my apartment with my son. My wife left me 3 years ago. Now my son is 8 years old, and I take him to an extra soccer club. I have now found a new job. The old one paid 20% less. My ex helps me with money. My salary is still not enough to cover all my needs. The child was left with me by court order and at the request of my ex. My wife Hannah takes my son Levi to her once a week. She is also obliged to pay me an additional 20% of her income. Because of my new job, I have difficulties. My son can't get to training on his own, so at 16 o'clock in the afternoon, I have to leave work for 1 hour. Then I would take Levi's home with me after work. Ligo went to training 2 or 3 times a week. The training itself is not very cheap. I was very uncomfortable taking time off from work. My bosses were not happy about it. I looked for other sections that allowed me to bring Levi to training later, and the section itself was very close to my work. It took me about 20 minutes, so I thought about enrolling my son there. I took Levi there a few times. He seemed to like it. Finally, I was satisfied that I wouldn't spend so much time on the road. My boss stopped panicking when I was gone for a long time. 3 weeks after I took Levi to the new section, I was determined that he would only go there, but I had to pay for the old section under the contract. Otherwise, we had to pay a fine. That exceeded the amount of the fee itself, so I made a deal with my ex Hannah that she would spend her 20% to pay for our son's section. The first month everything was fine, but then Hannah said she was not comfortable paying for our son's section. She asked me to let Levi go back to his old section, and we paid for it together. But this proposal did not suit me, because I had to spend 1 hour on the road again And again, I would have problems with my supervisor. So I set her some conditions. I am ready to pay for the old section, but she will take her son there. To which Hannah said that it was not possible. So I refused her request. Hannah thinks I'm a jerk for that. Am I really a jerk? Isaac, it's very strange that your ex can't find time to take your son to practice. If she wants to be a normal mom, then she should adapt to you. Since you are the primary custodian of Levi, why does Hannah think that you should spend your time traveling? She can walk around freely. She only wants to save her money. She doesn't care about you. Lillian, I think what you did was wrong. You should have talked to your ex about changing sections. You put her in an awkward position. If you were Hannah, you'd be embarrassed to ask for a refund as well. After all, it was only beneficial to you. I understand how uncomfortable it would be for both of you. And you took turns changing with your ex. It was really fair at the time. Gabriel, I hope your son is comfortable in the new section. If you didn't ask him, you're not a good parent. You should consider everyone's feelings, not just your own. Addison, if your ex went out less, then she would be able to pay. There would be no problems for anyone. I think Hannah is the only one to blame here. You are a man, you take care of your son, and that you have a job with a good income. That's why it's important for you to be a good worker.